And we're back. Our guest on this segment, Mark's going to kick me in the shins if I blow this, but it's Mark Lauinger.
Perfect.
Yes, I did something right. Now watch me blow this one. Robert Taylor. I can remember that because there used to be an actor back in the day. And Mark is with i2E and Robert Taylor with NPDC. First of all, define these agencies for me. What are we talking about?
Start here or start there?
Yeah, start with you.
All right. So the New Product Development Center, NPDC, is an outreach unit from the College of Engineering, Architecture, and Technology at Oklahoma State University. We're there for economic development. We provide engineering services, some business services. Our goal is to provide whatever services small businesses and individuals need to grow the economy in Oklahoma.
And yours?
So interestingly, i2E was founded 20 years ago with the mission of supporting entrepreneurship and growth-oriented companies in and around the science and technology space. Our efforts are similar in terms of the mission, but the things we do have changed and how we do it have changed dramatically over those 20 years.
How?
Well, our capabilities have changed. So back in the late 90s when we were founded, we were mostly an advisory entity, and we would provide counsel and advice for companies in terms of how to commercialize. Our first name before i2E was Oklahoma Technology Commercialization Center, and we changed that several years later to i2E, which stands for Innovation to Enterprise. So we've changed our approach, and probably most significantly, we now have about $60 million under management that we can deploy towards the market.
That's where I was confused earlier when I tried to give 60 million to somebody else. I mean, a million here, a million there. Pretty soon, what are you going to do? Do you fellas find that most of the innovators, most of the folk that come along with an idea are on the much younger side, more so than 10 years ago?
I think from my standpoint, it depends. It depends on the type of business and the type of technology. We find, and I'm sure Dr. Taylor finds, a lot of older entrepreneurs who might have some intellectual property, some patents and things like that, who are trying to determine how to monetize or commercialize those. But then on the other end, we see younger folks who are coming out of college or have an idea. Maybe it's not a patent, but it's a technology or a software. So it's really both ends of the spectrum and everything in between.
Correct me here, because I don't want to give folk the impression here that this is an easy road to travel for anybody that knocks on your door. There's work and sweat involved both on your part as well as theirs. And they may hit the door thinking, hey, you know what, I've got the hottest thing here. Just wait till I get on Home Shopping Network. There's more to it than that, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Can you help?
Yeah, sure. In fact, we implement the Inventor's Assistance Service for OCAST. That brings us 60 to 70 inventors a year. And those are individuals that have an idea that they think they want to go to market. We generally start with a Google search. Is somebody already doing what you're wanting to do? We'll follow that with a patent search. Has somebody already claimed the rights to what you're wanting to do? And then if we pass those two hurdles, the next step is to look at the engineering, look at the business model, see what we can do to get them further down the road.
How many do you have to turn away a year?
80% of that 60-some.
Really?
Yeah. Lots and lots of ideas have either been patented, or if you go to the right spaces on Google, you find those ideas already being sold.
But this has to be, even though Oklahoma is in a bit of a budget hole, this has to be an exciting time.
It is.
Especially from your vantage point, to see these new ideas walk in the door and folk excited about their ideas, and it's your role to say, okay, how can we get this up and running? Will it run?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. It doesn't do us any good to throw cold water on their venture unless it's warranted. But more importantly, I think we need to pulse and test them and poke on their ideas to determine if it's time well spent for them. We say, don't quit your day job. Let's really test the premise that you're trying to commercialize and see, frankly, if anybody in the market cares about it. People fall in love with their products and their inventions, but the reality is it's not a business until somebody's willing to pay money for it and buy it in their company or implement it.
And more often than not, they may have done the research on their project, but not on their idea.
Right,
So that's where you all really come together
right.
before you even start to take them serious is not the right phrase, but until you take them by the hand and say, let's travel down this road.
Right.
Yeah, we have a program that we try and use for what we call it our front door. It's called a venture assessment program. So it's really meant to be a boot camp for new ideas and innovation to test and poke and pulse to say, is there a product market fit? Is there a customer profile out there that's valid, and what is that competitive landscape? And it's a 4-week program, and at the end of that, I think we're smarter at i2E about what the opportunity is, and they should be more informed about things that are oftentimes blind spots for them as an entrepreneur.
I know network news has evolved into a creature now that just eats up sensationalism worse than any time in my life. But I recall when the Deep Horizon well, the head blew, and tragically there was loss of life. Tragically too, the environment was severely damaged. And out of the blue comes an actor by the name of Kevin Costner who says, you know what, my brother has a gadget he's been working on in his garage. And I think if we can get that out there, we can get most of that oil. And boy, it was for 2 days running, Costner's brother. Then it just went away. You didn't hear anymore. Did it succeed? Did it fail? When we have somebody come in that knocks on the door and your search efforts are positive, it's a go, and everybody gets behind them, do we have a way to hear about these youngsters or oldsters or whatever they are? Do we have a way that the word can get out? Or is there a time that you don't want to talk about it?
We do publish stories about our successes. You'll find those in the Oklahoma news media. Usually we're pretty quiet about that until they reach a point where they're able to stand on their own. They put a lot of time in, they put a lot of money in.
And they deserve
you don't want them to be scooped by
What's
somebody else.
we got about 2 minutes. What's the outlook? What do you see coming in terms of development and of new ideas?
I think from our standpoint, it's pretty exciting. Sort of 20 years in, we're continuing to do things differently, but we've got new funds, new programs, and new efforts to help entrepreneurs because we need to innovate as well as an organization. So we're seeing new technologies in old industries like oil and gas. Finally, we're seeing digitization of the oil field and also on the medical side of new therapeutics, new medical devices right here in Oklahoma. And that's why I think the things that we're doing at i2E can really help the investment that we're making, the companies that we're touching overall, and can really make an impact.
I got 1 minute. Is the process for, say, some fellow who has a unit in his garage to go online, locate you, and then make contact? Is that how it works?
That's it.
And
Yes.
it's as simple as that?
OCAST funds us to work with those people. The program's there. So npdc.okstate.edu, find the Inventor's Assistance Service, and we'll help you.
I'll tell you what, I personally want to thank you, and to the other 2 gentlemen, I think they're still with us, that were here earlier, because golly, we need you. Thank you so much.
You bet.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're all
Thanks,
out of time. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.